Right, the Chicago Bulls are playing like a team that they may want to make sure they can create some separation for that ninth seed here in the first half of the game, man. What's going on? Welcome to another halftime hangout here at Chicago Bulls Central. The Chicago Bulls right now have a 10-point lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves in a game in Minnesota. Bulls right now have three players in double digits: DeMar DeRozan with 15, Alex Caruso with 15 as well, Nikola Vucevic with 12 points. Kobe still isn't playing the best, 2 for 4, right? So not like cold shooting. He isn't taking a whole hell of a lot of shots either. Andre Drummond also has 6 points off the bench, which is big for the Bulls. Right now, the Bulls are out rebounding the Minnesota Timberwolves by 10, which is really big when you look at the type of rebounding team that the Timberwolves are, the number one defense in the league at that. Points in the fast break, the Bulls are winning that 11-2, which is a big thing for the Bulls as well. Points in the paint, 24-22. So, close to about close to even without actually being even as you can be there. The Bulls have 16 points off turnovers, so 14 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So right now, the Bulls are kind of taking care of business, man. They're playing extremely well, shooting the ball 67% from the field and 64% from three. The thing that the Bulls are, right? Like, they're probably not going to keep shooting at that percentage at all. It'd be ridiculous to expect them to maintain that shooting percentage in the second half of this game. But what the Bulls have done is they laid out a nice groundwork and a path for them to get a victory against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They just have to stay the course, keep playing well enough defensively, keep rebounding the ball extremely well. 10 turnovers by the Chicago Bulls is a little bit concerning, but considering, it's not, they're still winning the points off turnover battle. So, that's something there. The Timberwolves only have 6 points off turnovers, and the Timberwolves are shooting the ball effectively themselves, 53% from the field, only 38% from 3-point range. So let's see, how that's going to maintain for the Bulls. Can they keep making enough threes to keep this game as close as what it is so far? The Bulls, hey, you two stop it. Leo and Loki, stop. Because if you two get in a fight, I'm beating both of y'all. Chill. Y'all both going in the cage if you can't get along. Sit your asses down. Sit, Loki. Stop being a bully. Lost my train of thought. These dogs, I don't know what's up with these dogs today, man. They've been fighting all day today. They act like they ain't been living together forever. They just been fighting all day today. I'm about to send one of their asses on somewhere. Leave his old ass alone, low key. Leave him alone. Stop. That's elder abuse. But yeah, Bulls playing really well today. Let's hope that continues for the Chicago Bulls, man, and just hope that they keep executing their game plan like they can, and they pull out a win today against the Minnesota Timberwolves. To stay the course, keep playing well, keep playing together as a team, stay locked in defensively, keep rebounding the ball. That's going to go really well for the Chicago Bulls. So let's hope that they can keep doing that. Let's see how everybody's feeling about it today. We got Anthony in the building. Says the Chicago Bulls are playing a great job. They're doing really good right now. Doing really good right now. DeMar DeRozan, that's funny. Yo, what's going on, fam? Glad to have you in the building. DJ Reese B says, when we play like this, we the best in the league. I wouldn't say all that. Nah, that's pushing it a little there, DJ. Good to have. This is a good team when they are aggressors. Yeah. And listen, when they got to be locked in on both sides of the ball. That's always where it's more special for the Bulls, when they stay locked in on both sides of the ball. Hey, Haize, been a long time. First half for the Bulls. Shout out, Darren. Yeah, I agree with you. They're playing really well. Didn't let themselves get out to a big deficit, that's for sure. Playing well so far. Why can't we see this Bulls more often? If we play with this energy and toughness, we can make the playoffs. Listen, like I said before, I mean, really what comes out of the Bulls making the playoffs? I guess we'll see. Trap game for the Timberwolves, maybe that. Hey, listen, I can't knock that. How do we adjust for a more aggressive Ant next half? I mean, not even just a more aggressive Ant next half. This Minnesota Timberwolves team is going to absolutely make adjustments in the second half of the game, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, the Bulls, I think, can do enough, right? But offensively, when the Minnesota Timberwolves defense locks in, that's a tough defense to score against. So that's the kind of, if I had to pick a concern, that's the biggest concern for me, is what's going to happen defensively. How the Bulls offense can counteract what the Minnesota Timberwolves defense is about to try to do to us in that second half of the game. I honestly think there is some sort of curse on this team to end the season exactly 3 games under 500. I mean, listen, it's par of the course is all I can say on that one. The duality of the Chicago Bulls: play like shit against teams like the Pistons and Wizards, but can win against teams like the Sixers and Wolves. Well, let's not act like we haven't played like shit against some of the better teams in the league too. So that's just we're an inconsistent team. It sucks that I'm worried about us winning the game, and then this front office is going to use this to justify doing. Bro, I told you before, football CF Candy. Like if they have an excuse, just the fact of how many injuries that we've had, they're going to have the built-in excuse. It doesn't matter. This team can win every game, lose every game left for the rest of the season, and guess what? They still have a built-in excuse. If they're looking for excuses, they're going to have those excuses regardless. Caruso be checking people on the court. Love they do. You gotta love Caruso's energy, man. You gotta love it, man. Love the energy drum brought when he came in, manhandling Gobert, getting rebounds and scoring in the paint. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Hey, these dogs are like children. They could be living together all their life, but still fight one. Oh, facts. Like, make no mistake about it. I've had dogs my whole life. Like, and it's random, right? Because it's like I have 3 dogs, right? I have Loki the Akita, 140 plus pound dog. I got Leo the lab. He's about 90 pounds, 95 pounds. He fluctuates. And then I got Simba, who's half husky, half German shepherd, and he's about 80 pounds. When I tell you that literally there was one day where it was like a battle royal. Loki got into it with Leo. Leo got into it with Simba. Simba got into it with Loki. And then just one time, all 3 of them just got into it, just randomly. It's like literally they all just looked at each other, was like, fuck it, let's go ahead and fight. It's like, what are we doing here, bro? What are we doing? Believe it or not, this Minnesota Timberwolves team is not good offensively when they don't have Karl Anthony Towns, because Anthony Edwards is basically the only source of offense. Maybe so Conley. Well, that doesn't mean they're a bad offense, bro. I hate to tell you that. Like Derrick Rose was our only source of offense, basically, but you have players that played off that. Nas Reed can put up points. Rudy Gobert can put up points, right? So they're not a terrible offensive team. They're not like they're definitely not top of the line offensively, but they're a middle of the pack offensive team, even without Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, I agree. Just embarrassing at this point. I just don't understand why anyone in that building was okay with this, no matter how you look at it, bro. I've been telling you the same thing for basically a year, bro. It's not just because they don't confuse lack of action with not like. There's a lot of things that the Bulls, like if I truly think if AK had the ability to go into the luxury tax, we would have seen a completely different team, a completely different offseason. And then you got to look at the things like Lonzo Ball's contract has been a big harping on this team. Now they've held on to it, but I really do think that AK wants to do better. I really do think that he has that drive. I don't think AK really understood when he took this job just how restrictive the front office is about the luxury tax. But to take away the excuses, he still took the job. So your job is to find a way to make this team a contender. And that's the job that he has in front of him. He has to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Yeah, my Akita is only 80 pounds. Love those dogs, though. Haven't seen a more low. Do you have a Japanese Akita or American Akita? That's where it can fluctuate, because Japanese Akitas, the technically real Akitas, yeah, they're about 80 to 90 pounds. American Akitas, just like we make everything big and fat, they're not fat, but American Akitas, the males can fluctuate between about 95 upwards of 160 pounds, depending on the size of the dog. So American and Japanese Akitas, even though they're technically from the same line, they've like branched off to be completely different breeds of dogs in a lot of ways. Oh, my mistake. I should have said that they're the only types of people that can actually get their offense and run offense the right way. That's what I meant. Oh, well, that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. DJ Reese B, I know I'm not being serious. Oh, you're talking about something else. The Bulls had a 133 offensive rating in the first half against the Timberwolves, the league's best defense. That's just hilarious. Side note, I think the reason why we're inconsistent is we struggle with pace. Well, I mean, I've talked about it before on several episodes at this point. It's not just the Bulls try to be in 2 different timelines. They have 2 different ways of playing that fit each, like, kind of players differently. You have players like Kobe and Io that can really thrive either way, right? But even that, Kobe, Io, Drum, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, right? These are players that thrive in faster paced offense, not running gun, but faster paced offense. The other players like DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, they kind of struggle in that. Torrey Craig can find his way in a fast paced offense. He can be effective kind of in either, but he kind of more slow down half court offense. He's better in as well. So we just have 2 different ways of playing different as parts on this roster, and until they kind of make it all make more sense and kind of fit more seamlessly together, we're going to keep seeing the same thing, brother. I think what it is that people don't understand how restricted AK actually is. You have an owner that doesn't want to go into the luxury tax unless it's for a sure thing, so he's basically stuck. Well, here's the thing, and that's why I said it's still not an excuse for him, because you can still be a good team without going into the luxury tax, but you have to be smart. One of the things that have hurt this team is that they look at the draft picks they missed on, right? Just Tyrese Halliburton, Walker Kessler completely make this team a different team. Completely different team. I'm talking about a completely different state that we're in the team in. So if you're a team that can't go into the luxury tax, on top of you're not going to draw a lot of free agents, you drafting really, really smart is hugely important to building a sustainable program. And so they haven't done that well either. So when we play slower paced teams who have a very strong record, the second we play a team that can play quick with our aging slow players, regardless of how good the team is, we get cooked. Listen, I don't agree with that one, bro. Rudy always picking on the little guys. Try that shit with Drummond. Honestly, I believe that Kobe is second guessing his shots instead of letting it fly. He could very well be, because he's in another slump. I hear the luxury tax thing about OKC Thunder exists. Yes, the OKC Thunder are also a team that has drafted, like to the last point that I made, they've drafted extremely, extremely well, right? So yeah, you can not pay the luxury tax. It's not that you have to pay the luxury tax to be a great team, but if you don't, you have to make sure that you hit on your draft picks. You have to make sure that you hit on your draft picks. So it's a weird thing to be in, man. It's a weird space to be in. You got to be smart. You got to have a front office that's smart, and your decisions got to hit. The thing the Bulls drafting a guy like Hallie and Kessler is that they wouldn't have had the same growth because it's a different team around them. But it's not about the same growth, right? But it's still that potential in them. Like, yeah, you still got to draw out that potential, but let's not act like Halliburton hasn't been on multiple teams and didn't flash it everywhere. And the Kings at the time that he was there was a terribly run-ass team. So it's not saying that and Walker Kessler, I think Walker Kessler would have been Walker Kessler regardless, because it's not about the team around Walker Kessler. He just, the way that Walker Kessler plays, he can be, his game fits on any team. Because while he's not the more modern day big that's going to stretch the floor, he's smart in pick and roll. He rebounds. He blocks shots. That can fit on any team in the league. Any team in the league, Walker Kessler can fit on. Period. Now, you can say that he may have not gotten an opportunity because Billy Donovan doesn't play. And even then, that's not true that he doesn't play rookies. We've basically been 2-2 for him not playing rookies that are drafted in the first round. But I think when you look at Tyrese Halliburton, who would have been instead of Pat, and Pat started right away, and then you look at Walker Kessler, he had a skill that if the Bulls would have drafted Walker Kessler, they wouldn't have signed on to Drummond. Walker Kessler would have played right away. He would have played right away. So, you got to look at those things too. I want Sam Presti. I don't know if that does it, bro. I don't know if that does it. Looking forward to your draft profiles this summer. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be probably more straightforward than what you're thinking. But it's going to be depth. It's going to be a lot. I'm going to go after the top tier, mid tier, bottom tier. We're going to look at a lot of different positional groups. I don't know if I'm going to look at point guards per se because we're so guard heavy. I probably do. That's probably the position group I'll cover last, just because I don't know. But then again, it's AK, so you just never know. The Bulls need to be smart this draft as well, despite it being a weaker draft. I think they need to look at the front court and get a big who will probably replace Vooch when he can't start anymore. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Walker Kessler, why the hell is Utah Jazz having him coming off the bench and having John Collins start at center? I think that's try to get John Collins up out of there. Haize, the NCAA tournament changed your mind on TSJ for better or worse? No, I mean, I've said it for a while there. Terrence Shannon Jr. should be the pick. But I don't know if they're going to make that pick because of the stuff around him. Like, Terrence Shannon Jr. has tremendous upside. Tremendous upside. How long do you think it'll take for Peter Patterson to make us good, consistent shooting team instead of just always streaky? I mean, that's still like there's no guarantee in that. Chicago Bulls need a draft for need. I think that would be the most smartest way of drafting due to the fact that we can't attract free agents. Definitely can agree with you on that one. But all right, guys, I'll be back post-game show. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See red. Let's hold on. Let's hope we can hold on and get this dub, y'all.